So through about 8 games or so, it seems like we were wrong about the Eastern Conference. In a league with so much parity, it's hard to get consensus on anything, but the top four in the East before the season started seemed to be a consensus, right? In some order, it was Cleveland, New York, Atlanta, Orlando. And I do have to stress that that could very well still happen. You'll probably hear me say this over the year. The Phoenix Suns started 9-1 last year and did not make the play-in, so a lot can still happen. But what's going on right now? And I want to start with those Orlando Magic who gave up 4 first-round picks and a pick swap for Desmond Bane. And it was a deal that I was okay with. Not that I would have done it, but when deals like that happen, I try to put myself in their shoes, how they're thinking about their own players, right? So in a hypothetical world where you believe that Paolo Banchero is going to be a top 10 player in the world, okay, yeah, let's give up those picks, let's go for it. But if you're like me or maybe like you and you don't believe Paolo is going to be that guy, maybe you wouldn't do that. But if you truly believe in Paolo being that guy, I understand why you would go for it. Now, we can probably have the larger discussion later. Is Paolo really that guy? But for now, let's focus on Desmond Bane. He has been very, very bad. The frustration obviously boiling over, getting himself ejected from their last game. But I thought Desmond Bane was going to change more of their offense. And instead of having a guy that helps space the floor for Paolo and Franz that creates more motion in their offense, instead their offense is now just 3 guys going, your turn, my turn. Instead of, integrating Desmond Bane into a, just a more fluid offense. Right, Desmond Bane was supposed to help alleviate that need of a point guard, not by being a point guard, but by making the game easier for the teammates around him. And instead, they're using Desmond Bane the same way they use Paolo and Franz. Now, this number will probably go up because he hasn't really made any threes yet, and it's only been 8 games, but so far this year, 50% of his three-point makes are assisted. Throughout his career, that number is 74%. Last year, it was 63%. How does he go to play with Paolo and Franz and is getting less assisted three-pointers? He was supposed to get easy shots there that were created for him. Instead, now you have 3 guys out there that could probably really use a point guard, and then Tyus Jones has been terrible. And I just wonder if it's going to change. Like, he's going to knock down shots, of course, but like their offense, the way they play very slow. They don't really push the ball in transition. Desmond Bane is a really good transition player. He used to get a lot of threes in transition. He's not getting those because they don't push the ball. Even though they force turnovers, they don't push the ball, which is a coaching thing to me. He's taken the fewest amount of threes throughout his career, like per 36. It's the lowest he's ever been. Just not what I envisioned for this team. But again, we need to have the larger conversation at some point. Is Paolo that guy? But again, we're going to bench that for later. Moving on, I want to talk about the Pistons real quick because I have not really spoke about them at all this year besides after game 1 when I was very worried about them after game 1. And I'm still not sure how I feel about them. Currently, you guys know who's second on their team in minutes per game? It's Duncan Robinson, and he's shooting 40% from 3. And when you look at this team on paper, it doesn't scream a great team. When you look at the stats individually, it's like, how are they winning so many games? Again, it's very, very early. They are 6-2 though, and Cade Cunningham is shooting 43% from the field, 30% from 3. Tobias Harris is shooting 39% from the field, 28% from 3. So you look at it and it's like, what are they doing so well? Well, one, they are one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA with Jalen Duren, Beef Stew, but even, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, Tobias Harris, Cade, right? All plus rebounders. So that's what they do extremely well. And then even though Cade turns it over a lot, they don't turn the ball over a lot as a team. So they are winning the possession game a lot of times. They don't give it up and they get them back on the boards. And the lack of turnovers has always been a real positive thing when it comes to like heliocentric players. And Cade is borderline that, but like, James Harden teams, even Chris Paul teams in the past, like when you got one guy that dominates the ball as much as Cade does, the team turnovers are gonna be down. So that just limits the mistakes you can have, right? That limits the possessions where you get nothing, where you don't even get a shot on the board. So as long as they're getting shots on the board and they are crashing the glass, they're gonna be able to sustain a lot. I'm still worried about them being able to score efficiently in the half court, but they are offensive rebounding, and that's going to get them a lot of wins, and hopefully they can keep it up. But again, Duncan Robinson is second on your team in minutes per game. I don't love that. But moving on to the Raptors, who are a little bit difficult to gauge right now. But Brandon Ingram, we know, is an elite mid-range shooter. Right now, he is on a different level in the mid-range. He's not missing at all in the mid-range. He's currently shooting 54% from the field. When you think about the shots BI takes, shooting 54% from the field, I don't think that's sustainable. So, RJ Barrett shooting 55% from the field, 39% from three. Like, these are going to come down a little bit. Then I wonder what the offense truly looks like when those numbers come down a bit. When Brandon Ingram goes back to shooting his career average of 44%, in the long mid-range, instead of shooting 72%, which he's shooting at right now. Right now, BI is shooting 72% on long mid-rangers. Scotty Barnes is shooting 48% on threes. RJ Barrett is shooting 39% on threes. If all those guys are going to do that, then there's no question about their fit together. There's no question that it can work. I'm just wondering what it looks like when they actually have to work a little bit more to get better looks. Because as of right now, they are a top 10 offense in the NBA, and I'm not sure I am buying that quite yet. But hopefully I'm wrong, right? I like watching this team. I'm just not so sure that it's going to keep flowing this easily. If RJ cools down, if BI cools down, if Scotty's not, a sniper from three, like, these things don't seem as sustainable as you would hope, but who knows? Maybe they're just going to be knocking it down all year. But I don't want to go out on the limb and overreact too much. Again, we are very, very early in the year. But a couple other things that are piquing my interest. What's going on in Cleveland? Evan Mobley is playing fine, right? But again, I said all summer, the only way I believe the Cavs are a true contender, like meaning they can beat OKC, they can beat Denver, even New York, who I had as a better team than them. I'm not sure, whatever on that one. But the only way they're going to get to that next level to me is Evan Mobley being a top 15 player in the NBA. Especially when Darius Garland was out, you just hope you would have seen a little bit more offensively from Evan Mobley. And it's not like he's been bad, right? He's putting up 20 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, very solid numbers. But this is a guy that people talk about like he's going to be approaching Kevin Garnett levels. And I've yet to see him hit that, step. And I think he has to hit that step for this team to win it all. Like, I just think that's the only real avenue, is Evan Mobley being as good or better than Donovan Mitchell offensively. And I'm just not sure how realistic that actually is. So yeah, we'll see on that one. Some other quick hitters in the East. I just made a video about the Bulls if you want my feelings on the Bulls. My last video was about the Bulls, so you can go watch that. The 76ers are such a fascinating situation, but I'm not even really sure what to say about them. Like, we see what's going on. We see VJ Edgecombe looks amazing. We see Tyrese Maxey looks amazing. McCain's gonna come back. Do you need all three of those guys? That's a question. But Paul George has not played yet, and Joel Embiid does not look like Joel Embiid. So it's just a fascinating scenario they're in. Like, what do they do exactly? I think you just ride it out and hope that Joel Embiid, at least this year, right? You ride it out with Joel Embiid and hope that by playoff time, he can be an all-star level player. That's all you really want from Joel Embiid. MVP, All-NBA probably gone, but can you just be a all-star level player and let Tyrese Maxey try to take you guys home? But they are just like in such a unique situation where Tyrese Maxey is playing like a top 15 player in the NBA. VJ Edgecombe looks like he's gonna be a star. And then they have two of the worst contracts in the NBA in Joel Embiid and Paul George. They're going to be paying Joel Embiid nearly $70 million in 2028. They're going to be paying Paul George nearly $60 million in 2027. And I actually don't know a scenario where they would be able to get rid of those contracts. Now, we always say that, right? Untradeable deal, then they get traded. But who's trading for those contracts? And you don't want to attach assets. I don't know. It's not really relevant to right now or today's conversation, but the only team I can see like maybe doing it and getting a pick in return is the Grizzlies, because I feel like they might be in blow up mode very, very soon. So maybe if they can get an asset in return for just taking on Paul George and just give up like KCP and Brandon Clark, maybe, I don't know. That's, again, not really relevant. It's just looking at those contracts, they're in a very, very unique position, but Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe have been amazing to watch so far this year. And then the two teams I kind of want to make a separate video about, and these are things I've been saying all summer, so it's not an overreaction. It's kind of just like reality hitting, and the Atlanta Hawks and the Miami Heat, where we don't know what the Bam Adebayo injury is yet. At least I don't know. Let me just go check that real quick. Yep, no updates yet. Maybe you guys know by the time you're watching this video, but Bam Adebayo, it was a foot injury, and Bam had been playing well. Bam had been playing different. Bam had been taking a lot of threes. He had a game where he took 13 threes. And before the year, I talked about how I felt like this would be Bam's last season in Miami. And it's something that hit me just like days before the NBA season started. And I just kept thinking about that situation. Like, where is Miami going with Bam? And they started off so well, and Bam was playing so well, and their offense looked so different that they were inevitably going to talk themselves into, let's keep building with Bam. And again, I ask, where are you going with that? And I understand that every team doesn't have to be aiming for a championship. Some teams, you just want to be a good NBA team, put a good product on the court, make money, right? All that. But for the Miami Heat, who have kind of been in this limbo for a while, even though they went to a finals with Bam as their number 2, they are now building with Bam as their number 1. And if he's not their number 1, Norman Powell's their number 1. And either way, Tyler Hero's their number 1. Again, I ask, what are you doing in that situation? And I just felt like this year was going to be the perfect opportunity to look around and say, yeah, we got a lot of young talent here, and our ceiling with Bam as our number 1 option is probably a first-round exit, maybe a second-round exit. That's the best we're going to be. Bam's not getting any younger. Maybe this would be the perfect time to move on for each side, right? For Bam to go somewhere and be the impactful number 2, or even maybe number 3 somewhere that we know he can be. And him shooting threes and playing faster, to me, what I got from that is not, oh, okay, Miami can be really good now. Bam could really lead this team. That's not what I got from that. What I got from it was, okay, now if I'm another team and I had questions about bringing in Bam and how he would fit around my team, okay, now he's shooting threes, now he's playing faster, now I can envision him playing next to my star player that I already have. I don't look at the way he's playing and say, okay, now he can be a number 1. I don't see how you get that from this situation. And again, if you're Miami, like, what is your plan here? Besides just being a middle of the pack team. And the other thing that happens if you do get rid of Bam, and I said this about Trae Young, and I said this about Zion as well, there's a good chance that no one on Miami will ever be as good as Bam is right now. There's a great chance that no one on the Pelicans will ever be as good as Zion is right now. There's a great chance that no one on the Hawks will ever be as good as Trae Young is right now. But you kind of limit the options of seeing that with those guys there. Whatever, Dyson Daniels could be, he's not going to be that next to Trae Young. Whatever Jalen Johnson could be as a creator, he's not going to be that next to Trae Young. And that's not a knock on those individual players. That's just the reality of the situation they are in. Everything revolves around these players, and you're not going anywhere. So what exactly are you doing? Now, to me, the Hawks situation is a little bit different because we have seen Trae Young be a great offensive engine. To me, there's more reason to keep Trae Young and, see what happens in the future, see how these guys pan out, see what that Pelicans pick turns into, all that. I can see that, but I could also see the other side where, again, what are we doing here exactly? But on the Bam side, I just don't get it. Other than he's a good player, we want to keep him, I just don't get what the upside is to doing that. And Bam has a game where he does a little bit of everything, which is a great thing. It's a great thing when you play off of another star player. It's a great thing to be able to, pitch in everywhere else on the court. It's a great thing, honestly, for a number 2 or number 3 option. But when you are the number 1 and you kind of don't dominate on any area of the court offensively, you're just kind of taking up space for other people to grow. And it sounds so negative, but it's just the reality. And I really like Bam as a player. We just seen what he could do as a number 2 option. So let's put him in a number 2 option role. The Miami Heat are not going to be able to put him in a number 2 option role. And if you can get I don't want to say a haul, but real value for Bam right now, I just don't get why you wouldn't do it. I really don't. But I was not supposed to ramble that long about Bam Adebayo. My whole point was supposed to be the Hawks are getting a chance right now to see their team without Trae Young and see what their future could be without Trae Young, see what their players could be without Trae Young. And it seems like the Heat might have that same opportunity to see what Kel'el Ware could be without Bam Adebayo. And to me, Kel'el Ware is not even the thing, right? Because we kind of know what he's going to be, or the archetype of what he's going to be. And I actually don't think Bam is blocking that too much other than playing time. But what can other people be as playmakers without Bam? Without Bam holding the ball at the top of the key, initiating offense, holding the ball on the elbow, which is fine. But what can Yakachonis do without Bam? What can Jaime Jaquez do as a playmaker without Bam? What could Nikola Jovic do in the middle of the court without Bam there? It's really not about Bam as a player. It's not about the flaws of Bam as a player. It's just the reality of where you are as a team. And Bam not being there allows you to see what you really are, where you really are, and potentially what you could be. Maybe you guys disagree, but I feel like the only way you could actually disagree with me is if you believe the Heat are going to be this real contender. If you believe the Heat are just going to be a middling playoff team, that's my point. Like, what exactly are we doing here? Bam's not getting any younger, but I feel like I've explained myself enough. Either you agree or disagree, it's fine. Let me know what you think overall in the comments down below about the Eastern Conference right now. Please like, comment, subscribe. It will mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.